Well, the news out of Washington is that the Republicans, the Republican House Representatives, passed the big government stopgap spending bill. Okay, the Republicans overwhelmingly, the vote was 336 to 95. Only 93 Republicans out of the 200 plus voted against it. So the Republicans sided with the Democrats to increase deficit spending. We already have a 33.7 trillion dollar federal debt. They just voted to increase it. $1.7 trillion deficit. They just voted to increase it. $211 trillion in unfunded liabilities. They just voted to increase them. When I was a kid, you used to be saying about, they're acting like spending money like drunken sailors. They're even worse. They're even worse because it's, at least with the drunken sailors, it was usually their money. This is not their money that the Republicans in the House voted to spend. It's your money. Your money. And Johnson, Mikey Johnson said, well, I've only been here as Speaker 3 weeks. You can't expect me to turn the ship around that quick. The ship is heading for the iceberg. Yes, we can expect you to turn it around, or at least start. He didn't do that. Mikey, Captain Mikey, let me give you a hint. When you make Chuck Schumer, Smarmy Chuck, giddily happy, as you did by helping push through this spending bill, massive spending bill, when you make Smarmy Chuck giddily happy, chances are you did something wrong, okay? And you did, Mikey, you did. You showed the Democrats that you, like your predecessors, are going to cave and keep up the radical left-wing spending spree, which has bankrupted our country. There's what's the old saying? When you're in a hole, stop digging. Well, the Republicans just dug it deeper. All right, the Republicans. So now I know some of you may be saying, well, Carter, you expect them to shut down government? Yeah, I did. Well, no, I didn't expect them to. I wanted them to. I wanted them to. And if they were of good conscience, I would have expected them to. You don't have to shut down the entire government. You know, Mikey could have gone to Chucky and said, Chucky, let's meet down at the Monocle restaurant. That's the restaurant that actually is on the Senate grounds. Been there since 1960. I used to go there all the time with my friend John owns it. And I sat down with him over dinner at the Monocle and said, Chucky, we're not doing it. We're not going to pass this massive, quote, stopgap spending bill unless you make some concessions, and that is cutting spending. And I think I would have said, if I were Mikey, when Chuck said, with that look down over his glasses, oh, we can't do that. Well, yes, you can. Actually, you can. There's a lot of waste there. How about defunding National Endowment for the Arts? I'd say out of, 340 million Americans, I'd say maybe 10 million give a damn whether you have the National Endowment for the Arts. If you want to look at art, Google it on your handheld device. How about totally cutting funding for National Endowment for Democracy, which runs around the world pushing regime change on behalf of the military-industrial complex. That's what it does. That's what it does. Get rid of them. That's not our business. How about closing maybe just 700 out of the 800 U.S. bases we have all over the world now? Don't need them. Let's stop waging wars on everybody around us. Bring them home. Cut the spending. How about defunding The FBI, yeah. I said defund the FBI. I mean, it's turned into Ray, an appalling person, vilely arrogant man, has turned it into the home of the jackboot thugs. So just defund it and get rid of it. Okay, we should not have a national police force. National police, there are plenty of organizations in Washington that can help coordinate local and state police force. So we don't need a national police force knocking down people's doors, arresting protesters at the Capitol and shoving them into the gulag. So let's get rid of them. How about curtailing the budget of Department of Homeland Security? Let's think now. That department in charge of protecting our borders let in 4 million illegal alien invaders in the past 2.5 years. I think I'd say to them, you failed to do your job, so we figure you don't need any more money. Go home. Go. All you bureaucrats there, including Mayorkas, who has never had an honest job in his life, by the way, never worked like real Americans do. Go get a real job. Go get a real job. Make the kind of money real Americans work, and you'll see why we need to cut out your part of the budget and reduce the federal deficit, and reduce it to the point where we can eventually reduce taxes, which now take 40 to 50% of every penny you earn. So Department of Homeland Security, HUD, for God's sake, get rid of HUD, which destroys the housing market by shoving in low-income housing in the communities where people have tried to lead good, decent lives, destroys the neighborhood. Get rid of HUD. Get rid of Department of Education. For God's sake, I mean, you have a Secretary of Education now who thinks his main role is to put pornography in elementary school libraries and perverts in the little girls' rooms. I don't think we need them anymore. So there was lots of room to cut. Could have kept essential services going, okay, until we start cutting some of them, the massive welfare rolls. But Mike Johnson and the Republicans, who told us they were against deficit spending, they could have shown us they really were. Instead, they kowtowed. They made Chuck Schumer giddily happy, and the Republicans got their guns, Democrats got their butter, and the American people, once again, from the Republicans, got the shaft. So let's put an end to all this. Let's do this thing.